The next dignitary I would like to invite on stage is Mr. Sunil Soni.
एक मिनट आराम से
Sunil ji. The next person here to join is Mr. Sandeep Sen. Mr. Sandeep, please. And the next person I would request, personality I would request to join here is Ms. Binu Oberoi. Sehgal, sorry. Sorry, it's my mistake. I'm still remembering.
Who is Mr. Oberoi?
Sorry. These dignitaries over here, I do not need to share or introduce them. Rather, I would request them to start with by sharing their story about when they came out from Bhilai and the world they have, where they have made their own identity in a unique way, in a recognized way, got that recognition in that world. How did Bhilai help them? Can we start with you, ma'am?
Dear friends, I'm really overwhelmed today because being in the media, I'm forever, addressing people or talking to people, but this is a unique occasion, literally going back to my own roots. I'm very, very connected to Bhilai. My parents are still there. My father is 87 years old and mother is 81-year-old. And my brother is DGM in the Bhilai steel plant. So I actually, in that sense, never really left Bhilai. And I love going back there. I am Director General of Doordarshan. And I am probably the senior most person in terms of age here. I am from 71 batch, from Sector 5 Girls Higher Secondary School. Bhilai then did not even have a proper English medium school when I joined school. So I went to Sector 5 Primary School and then Girls Higher Secondary School in Sector 5. I think I have a very interesting journey because at that point of time, most of the people thought in terms of making their children either an engineer or a doctor. And and I did something else, I'll come to that later, but I must share about a Bhilai, which many of you who are much younger to me may not have had the chance to feel. It's like feeling the Bhilai of post-independent era. My father and my teachers and my parents and my teachers all belong to post-independent era. There was great amount of patriotism. There was a great amount of feeling that they were building the nation. I remember as a small child when my father would come back home with the blueprints of the steel plant. He was in the construction and probably first batch of engineers who built the steel plant. And when I would ask him, what is this? I learned the word blueprint from him. And he said, we are building the modern India. So as a child, I grew up feeling that I'm in a city which is representative of modern India with great sense of patriotism, which I still have. And being with the national broadcaster, I am, even my organization for last 35 years has instilled a similar kind of patriotism. And then it was, as you all know, it was a Russian collaboration. So anyway, what I was telling you was the Russians were still there. And all the fish, the entire fish market and people who sold fish, those people used to speak Russian because they had to sell fish to Russians. And I grew up when it was the era of Comintern, and we used to get in 50 paisa those lovely, beautiful, illustrated Russian folk tales. Much later, when I was studying international relations, I realized why those books were there, why there was a van at the end of my street standing and distributing literally for pittance, those books to us. You don't find those. When I started looking for those books for my children, by that time, the entire the Cold War scene had gone. You can't find those books now. So I have very fond memories of growing up in that Bhilai, which was absolutely a symbol of modern India. So now I'll come to my education, which I like to share with everyone, because parents work so hard, for the education of their children in Bhilai. I was good at humanities. I used to debate, I used to write. So somehow my father had a vision. He was an engineer, a top class engineer, so maybe he did not have great desire to make his daughter, I was the eldest child, an engineer again. At his heart, he was a historian. He loved art history. He loved dance and music. So since I was a small child, he would read statesmen. We used to get Calcutta Statesmen in our house. And he would keep telling me, read about reviews about classical dance, music, various things to me. There was no television. There was only radio. So he put me into the habit of listening to radio. And I was forever listening to radio, trying to speak like newsreaders, not English but Hindi. Devkinandan Pandey, Ashok Vajpayee, Vinod Kashyap, they were my idol. And I used to really dream, how I can speak like them, how can I get into this Akashvani, which is coming from some Akashvani as a small child. I did not know that I would actually end up being there. So when the time came after class 8, I was a merit student. I had topped 8th board, and my father decided for me that I should study arts. And I took history, civics and economics. My principal, Mrs. Abraham, who was a very fine lady, strict teacher, we all really respect her. She came home to ask my father whether he was not interested in me studying further. Probably she thought that I would not study further, that's why I have taken arts. So my father told her no, he had some better plans for me, and he was very keen that all these hidden talent that I had should be encouraged. And my arts teachers were very happy because they never got good students. They probably got the second rank or the third rank students. So my arts teachers were very happy. And I don't know where are they today, but I must thank all my teachers. They gave me this great sense of appreciating core art, fine art, music. There was a teacher who taught painting, though I had not taken fine arts, but he took great care during summer vacation. Ranu Jang's younger sister, if any one of you know Ranu, we all made a group and we used to go and he would teach us painting without taking any money. So when I was walking into Van Gogh Museum, I was so overwhelmed because he taught me about Van Gogh. He told me how he was in an asylum. Can you imagine, in a small township like Bhilai, all these learnings came to me. I watched Bolshevik ballet in Bhilai. I watched Uday Shankar in Bhilai, and that is my strong, that's my base. So finally, I did arts. I went to Delhi. But again, I want to tell you, all of you have young children. Children don't follow what parents decide for them. My father had planned that I should write civil services. He planned my subjects, higher paper, lower paper, everything. And I came to Indraprastha College in Delhi University. The very first year, somehow I landed up in All India Radio and Doordarshan. And I was selected as a compare, and I used to compare a weekly program called Youth Manch. and the site experience had just started. And Raipur, Jaipur, Muzaffarpur were inaugurated, and I used to do programs with that. People would watch, some community watching used to happen, and they would come and tell my mother, हमने आपकी बेटी को देखा. My parents were absolutely paranoid. They thought ये तो पढ़ाई लिखाई सब छोड़ के, what is she, after all she's doing? Because they were spending their hard-earned money on me. It was an expensive college, expensive education. But anyway, after I finished my masters, I was so deep into All India Radio and Doordarshan. I was fortunate enough to get into this Indian Broadcasting Service. I started as a program officer, and I'm thankful to God wherever I am today. I'm Director General of world's biggest public broadcasting setup. Doordarshan has 35 centers and All India Radio has 600 radio stations. I've had a great experience, great journey, but the entire credit goes to Bhilai and to my parents who let me grow the way I wanted to grow. So I would suggest that we should, all of us, who had different kind of experiences, should make some sort of a group, and we should have some sort of counseling there for, not for the children, but for the parents. That world has come a long way and there are so many different kind of professions today. I just want to give an example that I thought I was very modern, I was very independent, and but I went and did the same mistake with my daughter. Because I was in media, somehow she got pushed into media. She was a brand manager with Cadbury, but the moment she got a chance, she broke away from that. She went into, she's a conservator today. She's with Metropolitan Museum, New York, a conservator. So her story is just the same as mine. Like, I did not write civil service. She keeps saying, my mother pushed me into media. I didn't want to be in media. So there are hundreds of options for young children. And it's great to be, my father is an engineer, so I'm very proud of engineers. But there is life beyond being engineers and doctors. And Bhilai being such a strong city where there is less distraction, children can really concentrate. But we should have something so that they get exposure to other professions. They can be encouraged to do various other things. Everybody doesn't have to be at the top, but every child can do something. You know, today in the budget, there was a very interesting thing. They said they want to open schools at 5 kilometers distance. Today they are talking about it. In Bhilai, so many years back we had this. We all used to walk to school, walk to high school, walk to a hospital. This was the best thing one could have had. We talk about empowering women at the lower strata. We keep doing, because we are public broadcasters, we are forever talking about this. In Bhilai, so many years back, there was Mahila Samaj. People who lived in servant quarters, people who were wives of, the lower rung of people who worked in the steel plant. They all worked in this Mahila Samaj. The senior housewives, the senior wives of senior officers, they used to sort of manage these Mahila Samaj. And our school dress, at the best time in school was twice a year. We would get 2 sets of school dress. The Bata company would come to our school. All of us will sit in the, in rows, and one by one, they will take our measurement and give us a set of shoes. So I remember walking back home with a thaila carrying shoe and my school dress. I don't think anywhere in the world, this kind of, anywhere in India, this sort of schooling is possible. What great pleasure we had. So this Mahila Samaj was such a great concept. I don't know whether it's still there in Bhilai or not. So Bhilai was ahead of most of India. The time when I was there, it was really ahead of most of India. The bottled milk, Amul came much later, much later. The bottled milk, pasteurized milk used to be delivered at the doorstep. And my father would tell us, you don't get it anywhere. And we used to collect like coins, those caps, These memories I can never forget. Whatever I am, whatever is my personality, it is a small town upbringing. that made me successful at a huge organization, because I could understand the small time dynamics, which is my job, as a public broadcaster, to understand the small town dynamics. And my biggest client, Hindustan Lever, when they discuss with me, they find me absolutely at par with their research body, which does so-called rural research, which may be a big thing today, but it is nothing new for someone like me who comes from Bhilai. So with that, I think I will stop now. I can go on and on and on talking about Bhilai. My children have told me that when I retire next month, I must write a book called Bhilai Stories, because they are so, they've been hearing these stories from me about when I taught my son about when he was doing his class 10th. In class 10 there is always a subject about the Cold War. So when I would teach them about Cold War, I'll talk about what I told you just now. Whatever I spoke, the Bhilai reference always came. So I think after I retired, my first assignment is going to somehow pen down my experiences of my Bhilai, and of course I'm going to write about my experience in biggest public broadcaster. But I think my Bhilai book should come out first. Thank you.